All right, let's get into it, guys. Today's expression episode is to stand out like a sore thumb or to stick out like a sore thumb. This one was suggested by Chris in the Aussie English Virtual Classroom, the Facebook group that you guys can join in order to practice your English. So I really recommend do a search for Aussie English Virtual Classroom and give it a join. Click join. Today's expression, to stick out like a sore thumb, to stand out like a sore thumb. Thank you for suggesting that, Chris, and thank you for everyone who voted for this expression. So every week I send out a post in the group and I say, what expression do you guys want to do this week? Give me some suggestions. And then with all the suggestions, I put them into a poll and let you guys vote on which expression you guys would like to learn. And so today's is to stick out like a sore thumb. As usual, let's go through the different words in this expression, guys. So to stand out or to stick out, this means to project from a surface, to be obvious, to be evident, to be extremely noticeable, right? So you can imagine that if you have a surface like this and something is sticking out, something is standing out, that it's incredibly obvious. You can see this thing standing out or sticking out. So that's a good phrasal verb to use. The nail was sticking out of a piece of wood. The nail was standing out of a piece of wood. He was standing out of the crowd because he was wearing a red t-shirt. Everyone else was wearing a blue t-shirt. So he stood out, he stuck out. Like, the word like, this is having the same characteristic or quality of something. It's similar to, you guys will know what the word like is. My head is the shape or the same shape like an egg. My eyes are the same color as the sky, so my eyes are like the sky. My beard is like the fur of a kangaroo. You know what like means. A thumb, I think a thumb is pretty obvious, guys. You guys all know what a thumb is. A thumb is the short, thick first digit or first finger on your hand. This is a thumb. So to stick out like a sore thumb or to stand out like a sore thumb, it means to be incredibly conspicuous, incredibly obvious, very easily noticed as different, right? So if you stick out like a sore thumb, you're incredibly noticeable, you're incredibly obvious. If you stand out like a sore thumb, you're incredibly conspicuous. You're very easily noticed as different. So I was looking into the origin of this phrase, to stick out like a sore thumb, to stand out like a sore thumb, and apparently it originates from the 16th century, so about the 1500s, so a good 500 years ago. And the idiom is probably much older than that. It wasn't really used for a long time, and then it came back in the 1940s, so in 1940 to 1950, it came back thanks to a book by an author called Perry Mason. So he used this phrase and then it came back into popular culture, popular language. So I guess the idea here is pretty obvious. It's pretty self-evident that if you have a sore thumb, so you've injured your thumb, you've whacked your thumb on something, you've hit it, maybe you dislocated it and then put it back in. If it's sore, your thumb is going to stick out as it heals, right? It's not gonna be in your hand. It's not gonna be down like this. It's gonna tend to be sticking outwards like that, standing outwards like that. And so if you've got a sore thumb and you're holding it out, especially if it's bandaged, so if you've put a bandage around your sore thumb and you're protecting it, you're caring for it, you're making sure that no one hits it, that no one hurts your thumb, then that's incredibly obvious. So it's going to be a lot more obvious to see people holding their thumb like this, where it stands out, it sticks out, than just holding a fist or holding their hand in a normal position, right? So that's where this sort of idea would have come from. So as usual, let's go through some examples of how I would use this expression, guys, to stick out like a sore thumb, to stand out like a sore thumb. This is very much used in a figurative sense. So, for example number one, imagine that I had a really big pimple on the center of my forehead. So I had a really big pimple that was red and it was growing really big on my head. If it was really obvious, anywhere I go outside, people are going to notice the pimple on my face straight away. I could say that the pimple is standing out like a sore thumb. It's sticking out like a sore thumb. The pimple's incredibly obvious. It's incredibly easily noticed. It is conspicuous. And then I could say, as a result of the pimple, I stick out like a sore thumb. I stand out like a sore thumb because of the pimple on my head. So that's example number 1. Example number 2, imagine that you are going to a toga party, right? So you're going to a toga party, and a toga party is a party where you dress up like ancient Greeks. So you tend to wear a sheet across your body, and you might have, you know, some of the olive branch around your head or something, but they're pretty famous in like America. But just imagine you go to a toga party, everyone's dressed up in a sheet, everyone's wearing the same clothing, except you go in a tiger costume or a Superman costume, or maybe you go in dressed up as the Hulk or as Batman. If you go dressed up as the Hulk or as Batman to a toga party, you're going to stick out like a sore thumb. You're going to stand out like a sore thumb. You're going to be incredibly obvious, incredibly conspicuous, easily noticed, because you're not dressed the same as everyone else at the toga party. You're incredibly, you're obviously different, so you're going to stand out, you're going to stick out like a sore thumb. So that's example number 2. Example number 3, this was a really good example that I thought of. I was sitting here writing these examples out, and I remember thinking after I got past 1 and 2, I was like, I can't think of any good examples. My friend Emily is this beautiful 6 foot tall, blue-eyed, blonde girl. Emily Hepburn, her name is. And if you're watching this, Emily, you're awesome. But she was in China doing her master's degree a long time ago. And I remember her telling me a story about where when she was in China, she felt like she stood out. She felt like she stuck out. She felt like a Viking, you know, being this incredibly tall, beautiful woman with blonde hair, that everyone else has dark hair. She had bright blue eyes, probably brighter than my eyes. And so everywhere she went, people wanted photos. They noticed her. They wanted to touch her hair. They wanted to talk to her. And so she felt like she stuck out like a sore thumb. She felt like she stood out like a sore thumb. So because Emily was so different from everyone else, she was incredibly conspicuous. She was seen by everyone, always noticed. She felt like she stood out. She felt like she stuck out like a sore thumb. So those are the 3 examples, guys. Now, hopefully the meaning of the phrase to stick out or to stand out like a sore thumb now sticks out or stands out like a sore thumb for you, that it's incredibly obvious. As usual, let's go through a listen and repeat exercise here, guys, where we will practice our pronunciation and usage, our use of this expression. I'm going to use to stick out in this one. I won't change between the 2 different phrasal verbs, to stick out and to stand out. So I'll use to stick out, and I'm going to say it in the future tense. I will, you will, he will. One more thing I want to say here is that if you were watching last week or you listened to last week's episode, you'll remember that I used the dark L. So instead of saying you'll, I say you'll. So pay attention to that, because that's why I'm using the future tense again. All right? Listen and repeat after me, guys. Find somewhere that you're alone, that you can speak out loud and practice your pronunciation, and say things exactly as I do to practice your English pronunciation. I'll stick out like a sore thumb. You'll stick out like a sore thumb. He'll stick out like a sore thumb. She'll stick out like a sore thumb. We'll stick out like a sore thumb. They'll stick out like a sore thumb. It'll stick out like a sore thumb. Good job, guys. Good job. So I guess basically the pronunciation and connected speech side of those phrases that I want to cover for you guys, pay attention to the dark L. You'll, he'll, she'll, instead of you'll, he'll, she'll. So we drop that when we're speaking really quickly. It's a lot more easy, or a lot more easy. It's a lot easier. Also pay attention to the rhythm. So notice there how I'm saying I'll stick out like a sore thumb. He'll stick out like a sore thumb. So you'll notice there that I push all the verb and the pronoun together. He'll stick out like a sore thumb. She'll stick out like a sore thumb. You'll see how that's linked together. So notice, pay attention to my rhythm and really try and copy that when you listen and repeat these phrases. So pay attention to the rhythm, pay attention to the dark L, he'll, she'll, I'll, thou. Notice that. And then also I want you to pay attention to linking the K's onto the next word. So you'll notice in this sentence, stick ends with a K and like ends with a K. And you'll notice that when I say these sentences, I almost move that K at the ends of those words onto the start of the next words. So I'll say, it'll stick out like a sore thumb. So you see that? It'll stick out like a sore thumb. It links really well. So that's the one thing I wanted you to take away from this lesson. Pay attention to how we link the consonants at the ends of the words there, stick and like, the K, how we link it onto the next word that starts with a vowel. And so some other examples were wake up, as in I wake up in the morning, wake up, make out, if you make out with someone, you're kissing them, make out, rake it, if you're raking, it means you're using a rake to say collect leaves in your yard, you're raking up the leaves, rake it up, rake up. So notice the K there linking. And then I guess the last one, I have a sentence here for you to practice this, guys. So listen and repeat after me. Listen and repeat after me. I cook and make a cake after I wake up. All right, I'm going to try and say that more linked together. I cook and make a cake after I wake up. I cook and make a cake after I wake up. I cook and make a cake after I wake up. I cook and make a cake after I wake up. So you'll notice there that the K links to the next word that starts with a vowel. I cook and make a cake like, anyway, it's a tongue twister. I cook and make a cake after I wake up. All right. Good job, guys. I hope you enjoy this episode. Before we finish up, I want to mention that obviously there is bonus content for this episode where I will give you a full transcript as well as an MP3 for the episode to download when you sign up to the Aussie English Classroom on the website. It's $1 to try for a month. That's 4 lessons. You'll get 1 a week for a month for $1. You'll get a massive vocab list of all the difficult words like phrasal verbs and other words that I've used in this lesson. That'll come after the main transcript. You'll then get slang exercises. You'll get a listening comprehension exercise with questions for you to answer while you listen to the episode. So asking about different things I say. So to practice your listening comprehension. You'll also have a phrasal verb exercise, which I have a feeling is going to focus on to stick out or to stand out in this episode. So we're going to practice with substituting in phrasal verbs, because I love trying to teach you guys phrasal verbs. That also comes with an MP3 for you to listen to and do as a listen and repeat exercise. So you can do that, or you can do it as a written exercise. There'll be a slang exercise at the end, guys, for Aussie slang. You'll get a pronunciation and connected speech exercise focusing more on those consonants linking to words starting with vowels this week, and then you'll have a grammar exercise, and we might fiddle with the future tense again. So remember, sign up to the Aussie English Classroom, give it a go, $1 for the first month. You get 4 lessons, they get emailed to you, and you can work through 1 lesson per week, and you're going to notice your English really shoots up if you carry out each one of these lessons once a week and complete all of the exercises. Aside from that, I have one more announcement for you guys, and that is that as of next Thursday, I'm going to be starting a phrasal verb course on Facebook. The phrasal verb course is going to start. So this is going to take the place of the 7 p.m. Thursday lessons, the live lessons. They're going to be streamed live each week. I'm probably going to end up doing 2 lessons a week. So I probably won't just do 1. I think I'm going to have to do 2, because the basic idea for me is that I want to create a course that is streamed live on Facebook, and that the stream video is free for you guys. You don't have to pay for it, of course. It's free. You can just tune in and watch it at any time. It'll also be uploaded to YouTube. But that by creating this content, I'm then going to take the audio and take the video from each lesson, and I'm going to overlay it on the slideshow of all the phrasal verbs that I'm talking about in each lesson, so that you can learn a lot more deeply. You can follow it. You'll have all the words, all the phrasal verbs written in front of you. You can see pictures showing you how these phrasal verbs are acting. And you'll also get a transcript, a word-for-word transcript of each episode. But that is going to be paid material. That is going to be for people who sign up and want the extra material to really take their understanding and comprehension of phrasal verbs to the next level. So that's going to start on Thursday next week at 7 p.m. Hopefully that's enough time for me to get organized. There's also going to be a Facebook group for people who sign up with daily activities. There are going to be videos that I put on there for you guys to do exercises to practice these phrasal verbs from each lesson, from each week, for you to practice every single day. And then you're going to get all the downloads, the videos, the MP3s, and the transcripts, as well as all the other extra content. You're going to have access to that to download and use anywhere, anytime, if you sign up to be a member. So anyway, that was the announcement for today, guys. Obviously, you can come and check it out on Thursday, see what you think. I'm going to want to keep this well under $100 price range wise. Well, under $100. I don't know. I haven't worked out how much work it's going to be yet. I want it to be probably about 2 to 3 months to finish. So it'll be 2 lessons a week, and we'll see what we can do. But that's it for today, guys. I've got some question time for you. I've got about 15 minutes. If you guys have any kind of English questions, you want to ask me about this lesson, if you want to ask me about Aussie English, about Australia, about me, about English, put a question down below in the comment bar there. You're welcome to ask me anything you'd like. To kick it off, to begin it, to start it, Audrey this week asked me, what is the difference in pronunciation between the words taught, as in the past tense of to teach? I taught someone yesterday. I taught someone last year. Taught, T-A-U-G-H-T, taught. And the word thought, thought, as in a thought, something I'm thinking of, a thought, or the past tense of to think. Yesterday, I thought you were coming over to teach me something. So yesterday you taught me something, and I thought you were going to come over yesterday. So the difference in pronunciation here, Audrey, is that taught obviously starts with a T sound, taught, taught, and thought sounds exactly the same, except that instead of a T sound, it starts with a TH sound, thought. So taught, taught, that's where the tongue is touching behind my teeth and the gum, and then saying taught. And if I say thought, this time, instead of touching behind my teeth, the tongue is going between my upper and lower jaw. Thought, thought, and I'm pulling it back. Taught, thought. So do you guys have any other questions for me that you would like answered today? any other questions. I'll have a quick look, a quick squiz. So some of you guys are from Chile, some of you are in Brazil, craziness. Some of you in Melbourne, Argentina. Have you got any questions for me though, guys? Felipe, okay. Hi, Pete. What do we got here? Let me just scroll down. Hi, Pete from Santiago, Chile. I wanted to make you this question a long time ago. You always talk about slang terms, but not about rhyming slangs. Aren't they really used anymore these days? So that's a difficult one for me to sort of think of examples for. I'll have to type in rhyming slangs Australia to try and get some fresh examples. But yeah, they're not really that common anymore. I think they're the kind of slang that my parents and grandparents might have used back in the day, but I think it's one of those examples where, because they use it, their children decided to rebel against that and not use it. So, for example, here we've got a bag of fruit instead of saying a suit. A bag of fruit instead of saying a suit. Or dead horse instead of saying tomato sauce. Or what else have we got here? A corn cob instead of a snob, apparently. Or to dig a grave instead of shave. Yeah, I would never have used any of these ever, but I think my parents probably would have, and my grandparents might have as well. But that's the thing, yeah. I tend to use the individual slang words in Australian English, but rhyming slang is not common anymore. I'd get it if someone explained it to me, but if they used it out of context, then I would probably not know what they were talking about. So Thura asks, I find that many people use literally in their sentences. How can I use this word? So literally means that it is exactly as it's said. So if I say that I got hit in the head, literally, it would be that someone literally smacked me in the head. They hit me in the head. Whereas the opposite of literally, or literally, is figuratively. So like if I said a smell really hit me in the face, the smell can't hit me in the face literally, but figuratively it can feel like it hit me in the face if I smell it and I go, whoa, like that. So people will use literally to emphasize the fact that that thing really happened the way that they're saying that it happened. So they would just, use it to emphasize that that thing is true. I literally woke up at 5 a.m. as opposed to I woke up at 5 a.m. and I'm talking about just the fact that it was really early in the morning. If I said literally, man, I woke up at 5 a.m., that is that I really woke up at the time, 5 a.m., on the dot, spot on, at that exact time. So let me scroll through some more questions here. Ruchi wants to know, can you please talk about some inventions made in Australia? All right, Ruch, I saw you ask this the other day. One invention that was made here that I know is Wi-Fi. So Wi-Fi for your internet. I believe that was made by an Australian company. I think it was Wi-Fi. It could have been Bluetooth, but yeah, Wi-Fi. Let's see, Wi-Fi Australia invention. Yeah, it looks like other people have searched this. Yep, Wi-Fi was made by an Australian engineer named John O'Sullivan in the CSIRO. So that was invented in Australia. Another invention is the Hills Hoist clothesline, which is a clothesline that has metal bars on it like this, and you can, what would you call it? Crank it like this to get it to go up or to come down, as well as to get it to spin. So look up Hills Hoist clothesline, and that was invented by an Australian and is a very a famous kind of thing that reminds people about Australia. It's very nostalgic. My parents had one when I was a kid, although they don't tend to be around anymore. No one uses Hills Hoists. They might be in really old houses though. Aside from that, I think that solar panels were invented in Australia. Invention Australia. Let's see if that one was invented in Australia as well. Australian scientists just made, I'm not sure, but those two I definitely know. Wi-Fi and the Hills Hoist were invented in Australia. Let's scroll through and find some more here. So, loser. Hi, Pete. I'm in Perth. I would like to know if I could join the you've written pheasant verb course, the phrasal verb course at any time, or will it be a fixed time? I would like to take it, but I can't afford it for next week. Yeah, so loser, the plan with the phrasal verb course is that I'm going to start it and then build on it each week, and that you can sign up at any time. So you can sign up from the start, from week 1, and get access to everything as it comes out, or after it's finished you can sign up and you just get everything at once. So they're going to be the options. I'll probably have a cheaper price for people who want to sign up for the phrasal verb course as I'm doing the phrasal verb course, and then when it's finished the price will probably increase. So I want to encourage people to join me while I'm releasing all the content. But yeah, the aim is to have it so that you can join at any time, whether it's at the start, during, or after the phrasal verb course has been completed. So yeah, definitely suss it out, and you'll be able to watch the videos for free, like this. I'm going to stream it like this again. These videos will be free, so you can watch and see what you think, and if you want all the bonus content, then you just have to sign up. All right. Martis wants to know, what's the difference between saying will be not and will not be? So I guess if I can think of an example where you would use this in a sentence, I will not be there tomorrow. I will be not there tomorrow. I guess you're using not to negate the verb. If you say I will not be, I will not be. So you're using not on the verb to be, I will not be. Whereas if you say I'll be and then not there, I'll be not visible, I'll be not around, I'll be not 50 years old. You're negating, or not negating, but you're saying what you aren't as the... It's so hard to sort of explain. You're negating, I guess, the noun this time. So I am not a 50-year-old man. I am a 50-year-old man. No, I'm not. I'm not a 50-year-old man. I will be a 50-year-old man in how many years? 20 years. And in 19 years, I will not be a 50-year-old man. That's the way I would say it. I won't be a 50-year-old man. I'll be 49. But you could also say, I will be not a 50-year-old man, although that's a kind of weird way of saying it. But yeah, I would stick with the first one, the second one, will not be. So I would always negate the verb there. What else have we got here? Elizabeth wants to know, how can I use belly? All right, so let me stand up. This is my belly. This thing here, this is my stomach, this is my belly. It tends to be used for people though who are, I guess if you have a belly, it's kind of like you're getting bigger. So my sister at the moment is pregnant, her belly is getting larger. I wouldn't use stomach really in that sense, I don't think. Belly, yeah, she's getting a bit of a belly. So a fat person would have a big belly. If I ate some food though, I could say the food went down into my belly. It went down into my stomach. But yeah, belly you can just use for your tummy, your stomach, the torso part, the lower part of your torso down here where the food goes, where a baby is. That's your belly. Alrighty then. Gustavo wants to know if you use uru or turu for goodbye. No, my grandparents would use that. Turu, uru, they would use that. No one my age would ever use that as a way of saying goodbye. But I have heard it, and it tends to be my grandparents' generation that would use that term. Felipe wants to know what music I like. I kind of like a bit of everything, to be honest, Felipe. So I like everything. I think the main stuff that I really listen to tends to be alternative, kind of more complicated music. That I kind of don't really like pop music that much. Like I can listen to it, but I get a bit bored because it's so predictable. It's easy to tell where the songs are going. It's like, okay, verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, outro. So I don't really tend to like much pop music, but I can tolerate it. I tend to listen to a lot more progressive, heavier music at times. Some Australian bands that I recommend that you listen to are Carnival. That's Karnivool. Carnival. They're amazing. They're probably my favourite band. I listen to Tool, A Perfect Circle. Some other Australian bands are The Butterfly Effect, and Cog, C-O-G, Cog. Those guys, that was what I listened to growing up. But then I listened to opera, I listened to some rap, like Eminem, everything and anything, folk music. It just depends on my mood. If I'm in a good mood and I'm very sort of happy and cheerful, I'll listen to more sort of poppy, pleasant, easy to listen to music. If I'm in the gym, I might listen to heavy metal. It just depends on my mood. But I also listen to Meshuggah. Meshuggah is probably the heaviest band that I know, and they're not liked by a lot of people, but I began to really like the music because of the drums and the bass and the fact that it's unpredictable in that every song follows a different structure. It's not always verse, chorus, bridge, chorus. So check out those bands, you might like them. But yeah, feel free to let me know what you guys like. Which bands do you guys like? Let me scroll through some more questions. Yes, Carnival. You already know who Carnival are. That's awesome, dude. That's awesome. All right, I'm going to answer one more question and then finish up, guys, because we are almost at 1 o'clock. Is it okay to use too easy in a more kind of formal situation? Yeah, Gustavo, you could use too easy. It is informal. But it's not offensive, it's not nasty, it's not a swear word, so I would use it personally in formal situations at work. If someone asked me to do something and I wanted to say that, yeah, sure, I'll do that, I would just say, yeah, too easy, I can do this, too easy. So yeah, give it a go. I don't think those kinds of phrases where it's obvious there's no swear words in it, I think they're almost always fine to use in any situation. And if people really get offended for some reason at phrases like that, they'll let you know, and they'll understand that you're not trying to be offensive. They'll understand that you're just trying to learn the language. So never be afraid to use phrases like too easy and see how you go. Anyway, guys, let's finish up there. We've almost run for 35 minutes. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me. I hope you're enjoying the live streaming classes for the expression episodes on Saturdays. I'm really enjoying doing them. I think 12 o'clock or 12:20 will be the time that I'll try and do it in the future. It just depends on lessons, because I'm giving private lessons at the moment on Saturdays in the morning and in the early afternoon, and so sometimes they conflict depending on what time. So thank you guys so much for joining me. Remember, if you want to sign up and get all the bonus content, it's $1 to try it for your first month. You get 4 lessons sent to you via email, as well as access to the website. And that the phrasal verb course is starting next Thursday. So come along to the 7 p.m. class next Thursday, check it out, and there'll be the option to sign up if you enjoy it. So that's enough for today, guys. Peace out. Have an amazing weekend. Go and have some brunch. Go have some coffee, and I'll see you next week.